Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was made by a throwaway account in the relationship advice subreddit. The post is titled, "My boyfriend's ex hid a note about his cleaning and dating habits right before they broke up. I just found it. Throwaway account because I don't want my boyfriend to find this. I posted this elsewhere but thought this subreddit could help too. I and my boyfriend, who we'll call Steve, have been together for 2 years and have been living together for 8 months. I was cleaning our apartment when I found a note in the back of a cabinet. For context, I'll copy it below. Dear Steve's future girlfriend, I know it's you reading this because he'd never clean back here. I'm putting this here because I'm leaving him soon and want to warn you about him. He will not clean, he will not listen. He will make everything feel like it's your fault. It's not your fault. He's just an incompetent man. I'm leaving him. I suggest you do the same. Best wishes, Natalia." I read the note and showed it to him to hear his response. He immediately ripped it up and said not to listen to it, that she was crazy and untrustworthy. I told him that the fact he hasn't found it in the 5 years since they broke up is a red flag to me, because it means he's never cleaned back there and that he has been cleaning less and less since I moved in. He told me that it wasn't a problem before the note, that this is just his ex continuing to manipulate and ruin his life and that I was letting it work. We continued to argue along the same lines and I eventually left to spend the night at a friend's place. Steve has been a great boyfriend so far. He gets along with my family. He has given me gifts and flowers and always tells me how much he loves me. He's not wrong that the cleaning hasn't really been brought up before. The note made me realize it had been less and less and that we needed to have a full conversation. He texted me afterward saying he's sorry that I felt like I had to leave, but that it's an asshole move for me to take a note over our 2-year relationship and to leave him and our pets alone. I don't know what to do or what to believe right now. I'm contemplating trying to find and reach out to Natalia. Her name in real life is pretty unique, so I think I could find her. Steve thinks I should come back home and let it go, that his past should not affect our future. I feel like I could be the asshole because everything Steve has said about Natalia does make it sound like she was manipulative and petty throughout their relationship, but I don't know what to trust. Edit. I realized I didn't clarify enough about the points, especially the cleaning, so I thought I'd add it here. When we moved in together 8 months ago, the cleaning was 50-50. Since then, he's been doing things less and less, and I'd say it's at like 70-30, maybe 60-40 if he listens to me right away. I have to remind him to do things like bring his plates to the sink or take out the trash, and I didn't have to before. The dishes will pile up unless I do them, to the point he's had leftover food mold on the plates. I'm not a confrontational person, so I was just asking him to fix it when it came up. The note made me reflect on it more and try to have an actual full conversation, and I will say I didn't feel listened to when I talked to him about it. I tried to use the note to start a conversation about cleaning, and he got so stuck on the idea that I was listening to his ex instead of him that he wouldn't listen to what I think are valid concerns. He thinks I'm letting the note create confirmation bias, so no matter what he says, I'll think he's in the wrong. Also, I didn't leave him permanently. This all happened yesterday, and I only spent one night at a friend's because I didn't feel like our conversation was going anywhere last night and he wouldn't let me sleep until I let it go. I'm going back today and wanted to get advice and feedback before I do. Edit 2. I appreciate all of these comments with advice. I'm heading back to our place now. My plan is to first apologize for immediately bringing him the note without thinking of his feelings and validate that it's hard to have an ex's message found. That being said, you're all right that I've been letting the cleaning stuff get away. I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to ask him repeatedly to clean. It was pointed out to me that he should have cleaned the shelves during his move from his ex's place. The fact that it hasn't been touched in 5 years is forcing me to take the note seriously. I don't want to throw away 2 years, so I'm going to ask him to come up with some clear cleaning expectations with me and designated chores. I will make it clear that cleaning is absolutely a deal breaker for me. It's his decision how he wants to respond. I'll try to update you all. Again, thank you so much for the advice. Update. I followed your advice from the last post and tried to have a calm discussion with Steve. When I apologized for confronting him with the note, he seemed to take that as an admission of guilt and refused to listen to anything else. I had come up with a list of specific instances of not cleaning like many of you suggested, and he said I was using lists just like his manipulative ex did. So yeah, the crazy ex thing you all said was a red flag was definitely true. When I realized the conversation wasn't going anywhere, he even tried to block me from leaving. That's when I knew it was done and left immediately. 2 years down the drain, but I'm glad I had the wake-up call before it was too late. I will let him cool off and then ask my brother to come with me to grab my things while he's not there. He has a strict work schedule, so I think it'll work out. I am planning on leaving a note there, but probably a little longer with the advice to not show it to him. I'm leaving it in the exact same place, so if he doesn't learn his lesson about cleaning, it'll come to haunt him. All he has to do is clean. The biggest surprise out of all of this is that I didn't reach out to Natalia. She reached out to me. Apparently, he borrowed his friend's phone to call her, screaming that she's ruining his life still. The fact that she blocked him and he still had her number memorized just further confirms he was the crazy ex, not her. Natalia found me on social media and wanted to make sure I was okay and was especially concerned that he'd gaslight me like he tried with her. I thanked her for leaving me the note and saving me time. We scheduled coffee for Thursday afternoon. I wanted to thank you all again for the advice, especially the person who posted the Love is Respect website. I took the healthy relationship quiz after our conversation and it wasn't great. You called out how he was weaning me into an unhealthy relationship so well. For now, my friend said I can stay until I find a new place. I have emergency savings and a decent job, so I'm in a privileged place when it comes to this messy breakup and am just trying to feel grateful for that. Update 2. As you can tell by my original post, I like to do things right away. It was definitely a mistake to bring him the note immediately, but doing what I did this morning was not a mistake, as it allowed me to save my pets. First, I want to respond to the comment saying I broke up a 2-year relationship over a note in chores. No, I broke up a 2-year relationship because when I tried to come up with solutions to an unequal situation, his response was to yell and try to convince me there was no problem except me. The final straw was when he physically blocked me from leaving the house after screaming at me. That is not okay, and no one should stay with a man who responds to conflict like that. The actual update, I ended up texting the post to Natalia last night and she thought it was great. She, like some of you, asked me about the pets. For context, one of the things Steve and I connected on was our love for little creatures. It's why I thought he was such a great guy, because if he could take such intricate care of his lizard, he could do the same with me. I was very wrong. He has one lizard he bought before me, and then we bought 2 frogs together. I have a snake I brought with me when I moved in. I was planning on waiting until he cooled down to go grab my things and the frogs and snake, thinking he would never hurt them, but Natalia changed my mind. She said he could get destructive when he's mad and was concerned about the safety of my little guys. I immediately knew I couldn't wait until later this week and reached out for a meeting with the landlord early this morning. I ended up FaceTiming with Natalia last night, and we had a long discussion. Natalia is a lawyer and told me that in our state, landlords are required to let me get out of the lease I signed in cases of domestic violence. She also told me that his yelling, gaslighting, and refusing to let me leave are all types of abuse. It's definitely hard for me to sit with that, but the Love is Respect relationship quiz helped me realize that a bit more last night. Apparently, his constant messaging and control over what I wore and when were signs of abuse too. Anyway, this morning Natalia volunteered to come talk to the landlord with me alongside my brother. As soon as he heard the word lawyer, he was on top of it and said I could break the lease but would still have to pay for all of August, even though I'm leaving 3 days early. I felt like that was fair. He also messaged Steve to say the apartment needed to be empty for emergency maintenance all day today so I could pack my things. Steve messaged back that he was at work all day and wouldn't be home until 6 p.m. When I got into the apartment, it was a mess. He had broken my dishes that I had brought with me on the ground and left the shards lying about. My clothes were ripped up and scattered around our room. It was disgusting and heartbreaking. He left his lizard alone, but opened the tank doors for our frogs and my snake. Luckily, the frogs were still chilling in their enclosure, but my snake had gotten loose. This made me the most mad as she could have gotten cut on the broken plates. I feel so fortunate that she was just hiding in the closet corner and I was able to pack her up safely in her enclosure again. All my things are packed and I'm writing this as my brother drives me back to my friend's house right now. Natalia told me that she actually left 3 notes. One in the cabinet, one on the underside of the vacuum, and one in the crumb catcher of the toaster. While we were there, we checked to see if the notes were still there. The one on the vacuum was, but it looks like Steve did clean out the crumb catcher at least once in the past 5 years. He never told me he had already found a note in our conversations, so it caught me by surprise. Natalia and I left the vacuum note as is and replaced the cabinet one. I wasn't comfortable leaving my name on a new note, so my addition was a handout on healthy versus unhealthy relationships and a QR code to the quiz that woke me up. Natalia said if he didn't find the notes in those 5 years, especially after the move, he probably won't find them again. I'm inclined to agree, especially given he did find one, but then didn't even clean the rest of the house to see if there were any more. Steve doesn't make sense to me, and seeing the state of the apartment really woke me up to the fact that I have no idea who he is. The Steve I knew would never put animals in danger, but I don't think I really ever knew Steve. To the people saying it's pathetic that I broke up my relationship because of chores and Reddit, I encourage you to reflect on the subtle ways that abuse starts. This Reddit thread woke me up to it and gave me the resources to get out safely before it got any worse. I also made an appointment for a therapist. I'm very lucky that my job has good insurance, so I should be able to work through this relationship and am hoping to focus on boundaries and my people-pleasing habits so I never find myself in this situation again. To the people wishing that Natalia and I would get together, we had a good laugh about it. Natalia is engaged to a wonderful man who cleans, listens, and reflects. She said there's a phenomenon that when people break up with their awful ex, their soulmate can quickly follow. I'm hoping that's true. Regardless, I do think I got a good friend out of this, especially since Natalia is a snake mom too. This is my final update. I hope if you learn anything from my experience, it's that abuse doesn't start right away. First, there's love bombing, gifts, and pretty words. Then slowly, they test how much you'll put up with. You should never have to put up with anything, especially moldy freaking plates. Sassy B Sassy said, abuse always starts slow. As OP said, it wasn't about cleaning. Steve also controlled what OP wore and when. The drop off in cleaning and the control of what she wore all point to the slow slip of the mask. Once the mask slips and you call it out like OP did, yeah, she's lucky she could get her things and go within 2 days. Some women have to slowly build up savings because their abuser takes most of their money. The cum catcher said, I'm on board with her use of notes generally, but putting paper in the toaster's crumb catcher, that strikes me as super dangerous and a fire hazard. I'm on board with the rest of it though. This second post was made in the same subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, My husband is still best friends with the girl he had a 6-year long-term relationship with, and he admitted I was ugly when they recently hung out. I have been married for 4 months now and we had dated for 2 years prior. This girl has been in his friend group for quite some time and it was never an issue until recently. We hosted a little celebration recently and at one point all the ladies were gathered in a room and I was chatting with her. She's unmarried, 3 years older than me, and stunningly pretty. We were laughing and talking well until she brought up my husband, asking me how it was going and if he was troubling me in any way. She then pulled out her phone and scrolled down to show me pictures of him from before. I was surprised she still had pictures from that time, but nearly every single one was from when they dated. When I got uncomfortable and told her to stop, she just laughed it off. My husband was in his 20s then. She called it his prime and they traveled more than he and I ever did. What shocked me most was that she showed me pictures and videos of them having traveled to Barcelona twice. This was shocking because when I told him about visiting that place, he outright refused and said he hated it, calling it boring. At one point, I was tired of her telling all their stories, so I left. It was probably a bit stupid to get angry about something like this, but I decided to leave the room. Later that night, all his friends were down in the living room. One of their spouses had to breastfeed, so I gave her a separate room for privacy. I thought of joining them, but then heard one of the guys talking about how my husband's parents accepted me into the family. He and his family are all Korean, and most of his friends belong to the same community. I am from Indonesia, and it was a lot of trouble when he told his parents about me. Though all of that has been resolved now, it felt weird to listen to that again because a lot of slurs are still thrown around, even though I've been living here for years. My husband told him it's been tough, but it's all right now. Then his friend, who I was chatting with earlier, talked about how she had sent him on many blind dates with pretty women and that he decided to choose me. They were all drunk, so maybe they didn't know or didn't mean those words, but it still hurt a lot. They all started laughing loudly, telling my husband how I was a bit ugly according to his past standards, and one of them even acknowledged his relationship with the girl. My husband then said words I never imagined he would, telling them that I might be ugly, but he married me. Someone who used to comfort me when I cried, bring me shopping, and gift me clothes. Someone I was now trying to have a child with, admitting I'm ugly, felt terrible. All the incidents of the day just overwhelmed me, and I walked out before I heard too much. I decided to shower and then go to sleep before they all did, but even this morning after they all left and my husband slumped back in bed, I still keep thinking about it. It's difficult to convince myself now that they're only friends. They have a longer history than I did with him, and his friends acknowledging it was even worse. This morning, despite his state, he hugged her goodbye and arranged a pack of sweets he told me she likes to enjoy on the trip back. It's been eating at my insecurity, especially after seeing the pictures. My husband looked much younger, without the fine lines now appearing and the youthful look back then. A part of me is jealous I never enjoyed that part of him, whereas she's not only richer than me, but also too pretty. It hurts after being called ugly by someone who I thought loved me. This has been bugging me for a while and also seems like a very stupid thing to confront about. So can any of you give me advice on what to do? Edit. She even talked about sending each other bouquets without roses, but gifts instead. I used to tell him that I wanted one of those for my birthday with books, but he told me he had better things in mind and never gave me one. I feel bad that he didn't do it when I asked him, but it was a routine for someone before me. Jamie Cam said, your issue shouldn't be with this woman, but with your husband. The man you married feels comfortable sitting around with friends and talking badly about you. A good man would have shut down that conversation and never allowed guests in his home to degrade his wife in any way. To this, Pasumel said, I had to set my phone down when she mentioned her husband's friends casually referred to her using racial slurs. If anyone had the audacity to call my partner a racial slur, in my own house no less, they're getting knocked the fuck out. Little Cats 3 said, your husband needs to make hard choices about what his life is going to look like going forward. He either wants to keep these people in his life and lose you, or keep you and ditch the friends. None of these people are good people. They all talked badly about you, and your husband didn't defend you or himself. This ex-girlfriend is his ex for a reason. She is a jealous person who is purposely showing you the pictures to make you jealous. I'm assuming she chose those specific pictures because he's told her things about you, like how you wanted to go to Barcelona. At minimum, that ex needs to be cut out, no contact. And frankly, I wouldn't mind him putting her in her place beforehand. You've only been married 4 months. Do you think you could do this for years? It's never too late to get out of a bad situation. You'll know if he's willing to stand up for you when you talk to him about this. So I shared this incident with my friends and they urged me to make plans to go to Barcelona with them. I agreed and we went shopping for the trip. I have been feeling much better after talking to them and receiving all the support you guys gave me too, so I'm really grateful. My husband has been texting me continuously for a while now. I am staying at my friend's house for a while. I texted him saying that I wasn't happy with the company he kept and told him about what his friend did. I also told him that he admitted to his friends that I was ugly. He answered by saying that he was mostly drunk and didn't mean it, and that his and his friends' culture is such that it's normal to comment on people's appearances and not take it to heart. He said all the cheesy stuff after that about how he still thinks I'm really beautiful, but I can't accept that anymore. He told me he'll talk to his friends about it and ask them to apologize. I also told him that I can leave if he still has feelings for his friend, and he said that it was all a past fling and there's a reason they broke up. He told me I'm the one he wants to have kids with, but I feel like he wants me to be a baby producing machine for his family. I am still looking for a lawyer and my brother has offered me help too. He got really angry after hearing about the situation. I have a place of my own where I might move after I come back from the trip. My husband is back to constantly calling, though I texted him to stop and he hasn't done anything yet. I'm still a bit confused, but I think this trip is going to help me clear my mind. I haven't told him anything yet, and I'm thinking of blocking him on my socials, though my friends suggest he see that I am living my best life even without him. This last post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Standard Passage. The post is titled, "I refuse to get my best friend a wedding gift. I have known my best friend, let's call her Maria, since we were babies. We have been inseparable our whole lives, and she is like a sister to me. We both grew up in a poor area, and our families struggle a lot with money. We are both in our final year of college now, and I don't have a lot of money to spare. I have lots of student debt, and I work 2 jobs to have enough money for food and rent, etc. We both go to a very prestigious college, so we have worked very hard to get to where we are. Around 6 months ago, Maria met a guy at the shop she works at called Mike. They started dating pretty quickly, and Mike is very rich. He is the definition of living off daddy's money. At first, I was a little bit skeptical, as obviously Mike is quite a bit older than her, but she seemed happy. After a month of them dating, Maria had changed a lot. She was missing lectures and tests to go on last-minute holidays to Dubai, Paris, New York, etc., and always coming back with designer accessories. After 3 months, she moved in with Mike, which upset me as I had to sell our shared apartment because I could not afford rent by myself. I thought they were moving very quickly, but I didn't want to seem jealous or petty by bringing it up. Around a month ago, Mike proposed to Maria and she accepted. I was happy for her, but after she told me her plans, I was shocked. Maria's dream since we were kids was to work for NASA, and she has worked so hard for this. She has taken internships there and was planning to apply there for next year. But her new plan is to get married, graduate college, move to LA with Mike, and become a housewife. The wedding is planned for this December, and it is the most lavish, expensive wedding that you could think of. Her bridal shower is next week, and she has asked me to be her maid of honor. While I don't approve of her plans, of course, I said yes. She's inviting me and some of her new, rich friends she's met through Mike to the shower, and she made a group chat with all of us in it. She sent us a list of the presents she wanted, which took me by surprise because this list included designer items and luxury furniture that I could definitely not afford. The cheapest was $550. I had planned to get her something sentimental and personal, not designer brands. While all the bridesmaids were discussing in the chat what they would buy for her, I messaged her privately and apologized that I wouldn't be able to buy anything. She completely went off at me, saying that my financial issues shouldn't get in the way of her wedding. I got pretty upset, as this isn't the Maria I've known my whole life, and she is well aware of my issues with money. I told her that if this is the way she's acting, I wouldn't buy her anything at all. She's removed me from the wedding party chat, and I've had several angry messages from Mike and the bridesmaids telling me what a horrible friend I am. I'm feeling very conflicted about whether I'm in the wrong. Am I the asshole? Update. Thank you everyone for your comments. It has been 3 weeks since I dropped out of the wedding party, and I am still getting calls from Mike and the bridesmaids. I spoke to a couple of friends and asked for advice, and like many comments said, they advised me to just be there for Maria and try to reach out if possible. I messaged her last week asking to meet for coffee, and after being left on red for a few days, she agreed. I spoke to her, explaining my concerns about the marriage and why I decided to drop out of the wedding party. She stayed silent through all of it, and when I finished, she broke down in tears, so badly she couldn't speak. I took her back to my place, and once she calmed down, she explained what was really happening. Like I said, Mike lives off his parents' fortune. It turns out his parents had a deal. He could only continue using their money as long as he got married by 35. As he was quickly reaching this deadline, he found a young, pretty girlfriend and rushed into marriage so he could continue his luxury lifestyle. Maria found this out at a family dinner back in July. Maria tried to confront him, but he threatened her with taking all her money, leaving her jobless and without a place to live. Mike's parents also have a prenuptial agreement in the works, and Maria confessed she has been stalling it as long as she can. She also explained to me that the bridesmaids' new friends had been picked by Mike as daughters of his father's friends, and they all made fun of Maria for being previously poor. Because of this, she felt like she had to change, hence the dramatic personality change and expensive registry. It all went down after I dropped out of the party. Maria caught Mike cheating with an even younger girl. She found messages of them sexting and evidence of her coming to their house. She confronted him and he denied everything, deleted all evidence, and tried to gaslight her into thinking she made it up. She was sleeping in the spare room until we met up, and right now she's staying on the couch in my apartment. Last night, she officially called off the engagement, and both she and I have been receiving hateful messages all night. We're making a plan at the moment to help her cut ties with Mike, get back on track with college, and find a job again. I'm still mad at her for what she did to me, and it will take a very long time for our friendship to get back on track, but I am trying my best to support her. Again, thank you everyone for your comments and feedback. I really appreciate it. While she still has a long way to go, I am happy to see that the person I knew and loved is slowly coming back. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.